Hello children, today we are going to start the lesson reproduction. The name of the lesson is reproduction. Now what does this term reproduction mean children? It is the process by which living things, it is a process by which living things produce young ones of their own kind. Living things produce young ones of their own kind. Okay, that is known as reproduction. Fine children, all living things ultimately die. However, life continues from generation to generation because living things can produce young ones of their own kind. So, reproduction is the process by which living things produce young ones of their own kind. Now children, as in plants, there are two types of reproduction, you all know, and same is here also children. Same is here also in the animals also. There are two types of reproduction in animals, sexual and asexual. Sexual and asexual reproduction. Sexual and asexual reproduction children. Now what does this sexual reproduction means children? Sexual reproduction involves the fusion of the female and male reproductive cells to form a fertilized egg that grows into an organism children. We are discussing about the sexual reproduction children. What is it children? It involves the fusion of male and female reproductive cells. Male and female reproductive cells to form a fertilized children, to form a fertilized egg. Fine children, and that grows into an organism. That grows into an organism. That is about the sexual reproduction. In animals such as frogs, fishes, birds, reptiles and humans, there are separate male and female forms or sexes with different reproductive organs children. An individual therefore produces only one kind of reproductive cell. An individual produces a one kind of reproductive cell, or we can also call it as a gamete children. Fine. Then the male sexual organ produces the sperm. This is for the male children. Then next is about the female sex organ. Female sexual organ produce the egg cells. What does they produce? They produce the egg cells. Okay. That is also known as ova, and the singular is ova. Therefore, in these organisms, two parents, one male and one female, are required for sexual reproduction. Now, the next one is about hermaphrodites. In this case, children, in earthworm and leeches, both male and female reproductive organs are present in the same individual. They are present in the same individual. Organisms in which both male and female gametes are present in the same individual that are known as hermaphrodites. Fine children. Now what happens during the sexual reproduction? During the sexual reproduction, the sperm and ovum fuse together. Sperm and ovum fuse together. So what is formed, children? A third cell. A third cell is formed, and what is it known as? That is known as zygote. A third cell is formed, that is known as the zygote. The fusion of the sperm and the ovum is called fertilization, and the zygote is the first cell of the new organism. This is the first cell of the new organism. First cell of the new organism. Okay children, it changes over a period of time to form a new organism. Now fertilization. Now you know what does this fertilization term means, children. Now fertilization, there are various methods by which fertilization takes place in the living world, that is external and internal fertilization, children. External and internal fertilization. Now in the external fertilization, in this type of fertilization, it occurs outside the animal's body. It occurs outside the animal's body, children. It occurs outside animal's body. This is the external fertilization. Sea animals such as starfish and jellyfish gather in large groups in water. They lay their eggs and sperms together on the surface of the water, children. Then what happens, children? The sperm fuse with the eggs on the water to form zygotes. And these zygotes develop into new individuals in the water. This is about the external fertilization and internal fertilization. Internal fertilization that occurs inside the body of the female, that is known as internal fertilization. In birds, reptiles and mammals, the male deposits the sperms inside the reproductive system of the female, and fertilization occurs and the zygote is formed inside the female body. Now about the hermaphrodites, children. In earthworm, fertilization is internal. Okay, in hermaphrodite the fertilization is internal. Now reproduction in humans, children. Now reproduction in humans. Human reproduction involves two sexes, that are male and female. Each sex has a different reproductive system. Fertilization is internal, and the development of the zygote into a fully formed individual also occurs inside the body of the female. Then there is a term, children, puberty. The onset of sexual maturity occurs in boys at the age of 11 to 16 years and in girls at the age of 10 to 15 years. This is known as puberty. Now the male reproductive system and the female reproductive system. Male reproductive system. Fine children. In male, the reproductive organs are a pair of testes children. They are located outside the abdominal cavity in a sac that is known as scrotal sac. Okay. The testes produce the male gametes or sperms. Testes produce the sperms children. And then children, the testes also secrete the male hormone that is known as testosterone. This is the male hormone. Okay. Then the sperms leave each testis through a sperm duct or vas deferens that is known as a sperm duct. As the sperms move through the sperm duct children, fluids from 3 glands pour their secretion into the ducts, and the mixture of fluids and sperm, it is known as semen children. Okay, the sperm swim in it and reach the urethra. They reach the urethra children, which lies inside the penis. This urethra that lies inside the penis. The penis is the organ that transfers sperms into the vagina in the female's body children. This was all about the male reproductive system. Now the female reproductive system. Female reproductive system children. The female reproductive system includes a pair of ovaries, the oviduct, okay, and that oviduct is also known as fallopian tube, the uterus and vagina. They are located in the lower abdomen. In a lower abdomen children. The ovaries produce ovum. Fine. Then usually one ovum is released from one of the ovaries every month. The release of the ovum from the ovary is called ovulation. The ovum is a single cell. The ovaries also secrete the female hormones that are estrogen children. These are the female hormones children and progesterone. ERONE. Then the ovum travels through the oviduct. That oviduct is also known as children fallopian tube. Oviduct. Okay. The ovum travels through the oviduct to the uterus, and the uterus is a Children, the uterus is a muscular bag within which the baby develops after fertilization. That uterus opens to the outside through vagina. This was about the female reproductive system children. Then fertilization. In the fertilization, after the sperms are deposited, this is ovum. After the sperms are deposited in the vagina by the penis, these are the sperms. deposited into the vagina by the penis, the sperm swim into the uterus up to the oviduct. If an ovum is present in the oviduct, children, then one of the sperm will get fused with the ovum and the fertilization take place. And during the fertilization, children, the nuclei of the sperm and the ovum fuse together to form a single nucleus, children. They fuse together the nuclei of the ovum and the sperm to form a single nucleus. And what is the result of it, children? This results in the formation of the fertilized egg or zygote. The formation of the zygote marks the beginning of a new individual. Now, the next topic is, children, menstruation. Now, what happens in it? If the ovum is not fertilized by a sperm, it is expelled from the uterus along with some uterine muscles with blood. And blood, this is known as menstruation. Then, children, the zygote results from the fusion of the sperm cell from the father and the egg cell from the mother, as I have told you. So, hence it has the chromosomes and genes from both mother and father. From both mother and father, children. Thus, the new individual inherits characteristics from both mother and father, children. Okay, so what all we have discussed right now, children? Reproduction is the process of producing new individual of the same kind. Sexual reproduction involves two parents. The process of fusion of sperm and ovum to form a zygote is called fertilization. Then we discussed about the external and internal fertilization, and then we discussed about the male and female reproductive organs. And then fertilization in human occurs in the fallopian tube of the female. The zygote develops into a baby in the uterus before being born, children. Thank you, children.